Andrew and Rod, Dornbush download 152, powering on to 200. It's a bit of a clutch, isn't it? We've only just done 150. Anyway, we'll get there in about a year's time, give or take Christmas breaks. Rod, first day back in the office for me for a few days,
Yes.
back in the land of high-speed internet.
Yes, but you've actually been working. You've been out west this week.
I've been out visiting clients in Gundy and Tabia, and I stopped in briefly at Wengallen yesterday for the ladies' lunch, and that was going off like a frog in a sock. So a special hello to the 500 ladies. Hope you had a fun day and got home safely. That was good fun, and of all the clients who hosted us, one of the great things, Rod, I like about going out and visiting clients out west is they put on a great spread.
Hospitable.
They are incredibly hospitable and are really giving of their time. A couple of clients took me around their farms and got to sort of see, their wheat crops and their chickpeas and how that all works.
Would be a little bit dry out there at the moment, maybe struggling.
Oh, well, chickpeas, so here we go. Let's see if I can remember this. Chickpeas, they don't actually mind the dry.
Okay.
Wheat, yeah, not so happy. Probably the key issue is that soil moisture. But the key message I took away from out there is it is incredibly dry, and of course lots of skippies on the road, but it's just really tough for farmers. And I mean, I'm not suggesting farming has ever been easy, but in particular at the moment sort of dealing with this variability in weather, commodity pricing, where the dollar is. They do their own marketing these days. Like, there's just so many moving parts to their businesses.
But like you said, it's a business. Like, farming is a full-on business these days. Like,
it's 24/7.
Yeah.
Like one of them was telling me it's not uncommon to be under a tractor at 3 a.m. Like, how's that for commitment? When was the last time you were in here at 3 a.m?
I wasn't selling shares at 3 a.m.
So no, tough old gig. So what's been going on whilst I've been away? What's happening?
There's a few floats coming up that we can talk about. I've just got one
I prepared
one
earlier.
I prepared earlier because it's like the chase for yield. Chase for income is ongoing in a low interest rate world. So we've got a float coming up. Well, it's operating now, show interest now, open now. And it's called the MCP Master Income Trust. Basically, it provides monthly income, which is important on a regular basis. But it's a trust that pools investors' money and then it lends it to Australian corporates. So household name type companies in Australia. So on lends it to the corporates at a good rate of return.
It's almost like a bank, really.
Well, it blends
in the lending component.
That's exactly right. It's sitting alongside the major banks. That's exactly right. Their aim is to achieve a return of 3.25% above the RBA interest rate. So RBA rate's 1.5% at the moment, so 3.25, so 4.75% is the overall rate of return.
Paid monthly.
Paid monthly, that's exactly right.
And I think from memory it was owned wholly by NAB, and then the management basically bought about 65% of it, so still 35% owned by NAB.
Right.
So that gives us confidence as well that you're not dealing with sort of fly-by-nighters.
That's right.
That there's a bit of substance behind it, and the presentation we attended showed, as you said, a lot of these household names that the metrics, as I'm calling them, Masters Credit Trust is actually lending to. So they've got a pretty good track record.
Well, they've got a track record in the fact that they've been operating for a few years now, and they've got over $2 billion in funds under management. So it's not as if it's starting up from scratch. They've got a few years track record with showing a good rate of return along the way.
So who would this suit? You're watching Dornbush Download, madly taking notes, as of course you would be every week. Who would this suit? What type of client?
Oh, well, it's a good, obviously a client that is needing income, obviously. So self-funded retirees is a prime example. Look, you got your term deposits and the like, earning 2%, 2.5% max, pretty much. So if you can invest in something like this and get a 4.75% paid monthly, it's a big difference.
What's the key risks? Like where could this go pear-shaped?
Yeah, sure. It gets back to the how well it's managed, and obviously the terms on what the money is lent to these large corporates. So that's where we get back to, okay, they've got $2 billion in there. They've been doing it for years. 30% owned by NAB. It gives us a peace of mind that it is a solid investment. So management is a key.
And probably the other thing that gives me confidence is they haven't had any blow-ups so far. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they're one day closer to their first one, but so far they've been going along pretty well. All right, so
sure.
Have a chat to your friendly Dornbush advisor about that one, whether it suits.
MXT is the code for that
those
one.
playing at home. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, what have you done to Telstra whilst I've been away? I go away for 2 days, Telstra falls in the bundle, what have you done? Seriously.
Okay. Telstra had a tough run this year. Telstra shares are down about 30% this year in value. So it's had a tough run. It came out with an annual announcement that they were going to downgrade their dividend payout ratios. So that hurt their share price. But just in the last couple of days, since you've been out west, they had a proposal on the table with NBN Co to actually securitise their future payments from NBN Co.
What does that mean in English?
So that means basically they're trying to bring forward these payments and basically sell it to an investment company, and investors will invest in that company to reap the rewards of that income.
It's about $5,000 worth. I might add, pioneered by David Bowie when he not NBN Co. Given how it runs, you could argue it was managed by David Bowie. But basically, David Bowie had his music label and basically was bringing in a steady, consistent income stream. So what he did was he forward sold the value of that to investors. So it's a way, in the case of Telstra, it's a way of realising $5 billion straight off the bat rather than waiting for the government to bring in the money. And so it fell into a bit of a heap, A, because it went ex-dividend yesterday, but B, because NBN said...
No, sorry. Deals off.
Wrong answer.
That's right, that's exactly right. So,
but $5 billion, in the scheme of things, it's a lot of money. I'd happily take 1% of it, but in the grand scheme of things, there's $5 billion a game changer for Telstra. Do they go broke if they don't get it?
Well, they're still getting that $5 billion. It's just the timing of it. So it's still guaranteed to come through, and that $5 billion is just part of the NBN money. I think it's about $30 billion all up over the next extended period of time. But
so my question to you, Rod. Has the market overreacted?
Well, potentially it has, because it's...
Don't duck and weave, it's a yes or a no. Has the market overreacted?
Well, I think it has. When you see it's come off by 30% this year, it finished at $4.60, $3.60 yesterday, I believe.
What's the divvy? It's about 6%?
It's about 6%,
So
and
that's 4 years bank interest, plus franking credits, and it's dropped 30% for the year.
And that's where the drop in the share price has made the yield very attractive.
You'd have to say that you'd at least be having a look at it. What do you reckon a couple of the key challenges... We're almost finished, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think are a couple of the key challenges for Telstra? If I'm looking at Telstra, what are some of the threats over the horizon?
Yeah, well, you've got to look at their competitors. You've got a few, your Vodafones and the like.
2BG starting a new network.
That's exactly right, rural network for mobile phones.
And I can tell you, as I'm sure our rural clients can tell you, once you drive outside of Toowoomba, nothing happening. And that was with a Telstra phone. Goodness knows what's going to happen if you're lucky enough to have a Vodafone or an Optus phone or anybody else. And that's Telstra. So... Yeah, so certainly competition's a key threat to them. What about the technology mix?
Well, they're coming out and making announcements that they want to be an international global telecommunications company.
Which scares me no end.
Which does scare. But yeah, and that gets back to management, I suppose. And,
can they execute?
And can they execute? So if they can start going down that road and execute it properly, well, that's all goes well for the share price.
So last personal question for Rod. Would Rod's AMG Super, we can talk about AMG another day, would Rod's AMG Super think about buying Telstra at these levels?
Certainly at these levels, you've got to look at it, that's for sure.
Okay, so another one for your friendly, trusted Dornbush advisor. Till next week, thank you.
Goodbye.